After a 2009-10 season that featured several teams exceeding expectations and ended with a PSAC team being crowned the national runner-up, it is almost time to pop the lid off the 2010-11 season. This year, 13 members of last year's all-PSAC teams and award winners return, including 2 players that averaged a double-double and a full 2/3 of the all-PSAC West team. Let's take a look at the men's preseason polls. In the East, the votes were spread out as half of the teams received at least one first-place vote, but defending co-champions East Stroudsburg and Mansfield start the season where they finished last year, atop the standings. 2010 national runner-up IUP is a near-unanimous pick to win the West again, with upstart Clarion retaining its second-place finish from a year ago and getting the remaining first-place vote. Now let's take a look at each PSAC team, starting with the PSAC East. There will be a lot of new faces on Millersville's roster as the Marauders welcome 10 newcomers this year after losing 5 of their top 6 scorers. Junior Mike Siebert is the team's leading returning scorer at 9 points per game, and he is one of just 4 returning players entering their junior or senior seasons. Shippensburg will return the majority of its roster from last year's team that went 12-15 but faced some major adversity and was hit by injuries. With 10 returning letter winners, including 2 of their top 3 scorers in Will Royal and Lamar Jackson, the Red Raiders will look to climb up the standings in the PSAC East. Fourth-year head coach John Saynow will field the most experienced Bloomsburg team in his tenure this year, one that is led by juniors Larry Webster and Trayvon Johnson. Both averaged double figures in 2009-10, with Webster being the team's leading rebounder for a team that came within a game of qualifying for the postseason. Westchester will look to bounce back and return to the PSAC tournament this year after a disappointing finish to last year's campaign. Although they lost 2 of their top scorers, the Golden Rams returned 3 of their top 5 scorers from last year, led by preseason all-conference pick Kinde Roberts, as well as Eli Daniel and Harley Williamson. Cheyney will aim for its 5th straight PSAC tournament berth behind one of the PSAC's most electrifying players in Sharif Bray, the leading returning scorer in the PSAC at 21.7 points per game. Bray brings a veteran presence to what should be a young team, one that returns just 3 letter winners from a season ago. Kutztown figures to be in the mix for the East title again this year, despite the loss of all-conference players and leading scorers Stephen Dennis and Ryan Washington. Back in the fold is 3-point sharpshooter Julius Gray and one of the best rebounders in the PSAC in Tamir Johnson. The Golden Bears have also added Eric Brennan, a transfer from Lock Haven who ranked 3rd in the PSAC in scoring, on his way to first-team all-conference honors. Mansfield, co-champions in the East last year, narrowly missed out on an NCAA berth. The Mountaineers look to reach even greater heights behind one of the conference's best players in senior Yusef Carr. Carr, one of only 2 returnees in the PSAC to be ranked in the top 10 in the league in both scoring and rebounding last year, will get support from fellow starters Tony Fanek and Darrison Anthony. Defending co-East champion East Stroudsburg is the favorite to repeat this year after a school record 24 wins and the program's second ever NCAA tournament appearance. The Warriors should be strong again as starters Mike Tobin, Terrence King, and Mike DeMarco spearhead a team with 10 returning letter winners, 8 of whom averaged at least 7 points per game. Now moving on to the Western Division. Lock Haven will have to replace almost its entire roster as 4 starters, the top 4 scorers, and top 3 rebounders from last year have all departed. Seniors Eli Hanna and Sharif Bolton will lead what should be one of the youngest teams in the PSAC. Edinboro will be looking to rebound from a season in which it missed the PSAC tournament for the first time since 2000, breaking a 9-year string of PSAC playoff appearances. After going through some growing pains last year, the Fighting Scots returned 4 starters, including senior Byron Knight and sophomore Corey Somerville, both of whom averaged double figures in the previous campaign. The Mercyhurst program will look to continue its progress after finishing tied for third in the PSAC West and qualifying for its first PSAC tournament in 2010. Returning starters Hayden Ratner, Shelton Jackson, and Jason Snow combined for 201 assists and 113 steals, while Ratner and Jackson ranked first and fourth on the team in scoring, respectively. Slippery Rock is coming off its best back-to-back season since 1989-91, and after missing the PSAC tournament last year, is hungry to get back. The Rock will lean on all PSAC West picks Moran Brown and Jabril Bailey to get it there. Brown was one of just two players in the PSAC last year to average a double-double at 16 points and 10.3 rebounds per game. Despite losing 6 of its top 7 scorers from the previous year and going through several roster changes, Gannon still qualified for the PSAC tournament last year after finishing in a tie for third place. The Golden Knights will have a similarly new cast this year, as only 2 starters and 5 players return, while 10 newcomers dot the roster. A return to the postseason will be the goal for a California program that won the 2008 NCAA Atlantic Regional title, but missed out on the playoffs the last 2 years. Veteran head coach Bill Brown will need to replace his top 3 scorers from last year. Juniors Trayvon Van and Chad Tipton will lead the way for a young team that will welcome 4 transfers that are entering their junior or senior seasons. Clarion is the only PSAC team that is returning all 5 of its starters this year, and with the program coming off a 12-2 PSAC West record and a semifinal appearance in the PSAC tournament, expectations are high for the Golden Eagles. Leading the way are the all-PSAC Harrisons, Jamar and Lloyd, as well as Shamil Carty and Paul McQueen, all of whom averaged double figures last year. Last year's NCAA national runner-up, IUP, is once again the favorite to repeat in the PSAC West this year. Although the Crimson Hawks did lose 2 of their top 3 scorers, they do return Darrell Webb, the other PSAC player to average a double-double last year, as well as fellow starters Ashton Smith and Kevin Stewart, and veterans Julian Sanders, Willie Estrella, and Scooter Rankin, all of which should make for another talented IUP team.